In this video, I'm going to create example of this sign in page, and this sign in page will have a label, sign in, and then it will have two text fields where user can type username and password. So for example, I'll type Sergey and then add kirkapolov.com. This is non-existing email address, so don't try to email me at this email address. And then password will be a secure text field. I'll type password 123, and you see that the actual password is being hidden. And I'll show you how to create these buttons, like delete buttons, so that user can click and clear the field. And then a sign in button, which will send HTTP request, but that will be a different video. In this video, we're going to create user interface only, and then don't have an account label, and register new account button, which will have a green color and which will present a new page when user clicks on it. Okay, so let's go and create this very first page. So I'm going to start with the new project, completely new project. This is going to be single view application, and I'm going to use Xcode 9 beta 5 for this example. So I'm going to continue, and that project will be user registration example, and organization identifier, com apps developer block. I'll leave everything as is. I'm pretty sure you already know by now what these things are. Language is Swift. So I will click on next, and I already have on a project created on desktop. I'll simply override it. It's a blank project anyways. And now I have a new project created on my screen. So I will go to main storyboard, hide the left side panel with my project navigation so that I have a little more space. And that's going to be initial view controller, because it has this button on the right. That means that when application starts up, the very first screen which will be presented to user is this one, because it has this button on the left side. Okay, so I have my project outline here, my view elements outlines. So I'm on the view. I've selected it here on my right side. I will look down here at the objects library, and I'm going to look for a label. So I will type label to filter out everything but the label, and I'll click and drag and drop it somewhere here. I'll resize it from edge to edge until I see this guiding lines, and I will call it on the right side here under attributes inspector. Once the label is selected, all of those attributes will be related to the selected element, which is in my case label. So I'll call it sign in. Okay, and this is it for the label. I can use sign in or remove that semicolon from here. Okay, and I would like to use a little bit different font for that. So I will use bold. So that will be system bold. Done. Okay, now I need two text elements, and I'm going to go back to my objects library and type text. And that will filter out and find everything that matches text. So I need text fields. I'll click and drag text field right underneath the sign in, and I will stretch it to the right. Okay, so now when my text field is selected, on the right side I see attributes related to the text field. And the first one that I'm going to look for is this placeholder. So that will be username. And the way placeholder works is that when application starts, when application starts, I see this username, for example, as a placeholder, like user knows what to type there. But when user taps into that text field and starts typing, that placeholder disappears and appears again when user clears the value by clicking on that button. But that delete button or clear button needs to be enabled. So we don't see it in our design view clear button is on the right side here. So it never appears by default, but I want it to be always visible so that the user can always click on it. User always knows it's there and clears the value when they need it. Okay, and this is it. I'm not going to do anything special for that username. You might want to do username as an email address. In my case, that's going to be an email address, and you might want to use different keyboard type. For example, that's going to be default, which is text, or you might want to choose email address, and then it will have elements for email address on the keyboard available to you. Okay, so let me click and drag the second field, which is going to be password. And I will also select the field. On the right side here, I will look for the clear button. I will set it to always be available. I will choose placeholder and I will type that's going to be user password. Okay. And we are creating sign-in page. So that's enough. Username and user password. We have placeholder. We have clear button. What we also need to check is secure text entry, and that will make this text field behave a little bit different. As soon as user types in their password, the actual password characters will be replaced with that black bold dot. Okay, and this is it for the text field. We are now going to create a button. So let's go back to our project library here and type button. We have a few buttons there, so we need the very first one, which is called button, not the bar button item. That one is different, just the button. Click, drag, and let's position it at the center. Resize it a little bit, position it again, and I will change. Once the button is selected, I will change its label, and that will be sign in. Okay, and I will leave it as a default button. I will not change background color or anything else. That will be a default sign in button. So now I need to look for a label again, because if user doesn't have an account, we want to invite them to create a new account. So I will select the label, stretch it from side to side, and then I will change the value of this label. I'll say don't have an account, and I will position the text at the center. Okay, I like it this better. And if user doesn't have an account, they can create a new one by clicking on the new button, which we are going to create. I'll just position it here again. That will be a slightly bigger button. Okay, and that will have a label register. Let's capitalize it. Register new account. Okay, register new account, and we can change the background of this button. I will scroll a little bit down here under the view background. I'll choose a different background. I'll choose dark green, and the tint for this button will be white. Okay, so now we have register new account with the white front text color and the dark green background. Okay, so and almost done here. So one more thing that I like to do is I will select this entire view controller and go here. There's a little button, resolve auto layout issues. I'll click on it and I will reset to suggested constraints like this, and then that helps me keep this elements aligned properly by default when user rotates their device. from landscape to a portrait. Okay, so one user interface is created. I'm going to work on the register new account in my next video.